Ayo, ayo. Welcome, welcome. So, question for today. What if the biggest thing that we've ever missed isn't hidden? What if it's so obvious, like so consistent, so everywhere, that we had to create an entire system just to not see it? Because, okay, think about this. Like, every system we study, science, religion, the human body, the universe, they're all saying the same thing, just in different languages. And what happens when a smaller system finally realizes it's part of a larger one? Before I go any further, I want to be very clear about something. I am not claiming to know the truth. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm not saying this is fact or science or something you should just accept. Like, this is just my experience and my perspective. This is my attempt to put something into words that honestly doesn't fully fit into words. So, you know how it goes. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Question all of it, including me, okay? I'm not here to convince you of anything. I'm just here to share. So, systems, again. Sorry if it feels like I'm repeating messages, but yeah, we're going to go with it. Again, what is life really when you stop and really ask yourself? If you strip everything down, life is a process. Right? You take in energy, you process it internally, you keep what you need, and you get rid of what you don't. That's it. I mean, that's a human, that's a cell, that's... I mean, any direction you go, human, cell, ecosystem, it's everything. And inside every system is a smaller system doing the exact same thing. Your body, made up of organs. Your organs are made up of cells. Cells are made up of even smaller structures, and they're all working together in coherence, unison, and they're working together for something bigger than themselves. Okay, now zoom out. Earth is a system, the solar system, the galaxy, the universe, it's the same pattern, just different scales. So at what point do we decide we're the exception? Because logically, how can we be part of a universe where everything is connected, everything is patterned, layered, but somehow we're separate? We're the only thing that doesn't belong to something bigger? Like, they just don't make sense to me. If my cells inside me belong to me, if my internal system is mine, then what am I in something larger? Life is a container, because life's internal process is a smaller system of life. You cannot have life without a smaller system of life moving through it. So if we are the consciousness on the outside of this internal universe, and they say, you know, people that heal themselves, they're talking to their cells or their body, you know, they talk to it and it responds. So why are we so crazy to think that the universe outside of us is responding to us, each individually? You might not know every single cell in your body, but do you not though? I'm getting off track. Fractals. No, I'm not, because I want to say that these synchronicities, when they hit, they're delivered by people and circumstances and decisions that are made that line up. And I feel like the more people that follow that internal guidance system, the more synchronicities that can be created for more people. Anyways, fractals. Patterns that repeat at different scales. Right? We all know, see them in trees, rivers, lightning. You know, even how neurons fire in the brain and galaxies form in space. They follow similar structures, different materials, same blueprint. And you got the systems theory, which I just learned about this, which basically says you can't understand something fully by isolating it. You have to see how it relates to everything around it. And this one might be tricky, so disclaimer, religion. Okay, different stories, different names, but over and over again you hear the same themes. Unity, connection, a greater whole. We are a piece of God. So whether you go through science or you go through spirituality, if you zoom out far enough and zoom in far enough, I call it the microscope, the telescope, they start pointing in the same direction. So for me, this didn't start as a theory. It started as a moment. For those of you who don't know, back in 2018, lost everything. I mean everything. All I had was a backpack, standing outside a storage unit, and I had to make a decision, go left or go right. And for some reason, that moment felt like my entire life came down to that one choice, and I couldn't do it. I froze. So I did the only thing I could think of. I looked up at the night sky and I asked for help. Like, not in some poetic or spiritual way. Like, I was crying. I was desperate. And I just needed, like, something. But then something shifted. I looked at the tree across the street and I followed it from the top all the way down to its roots. And then I had this thought. Oh my God, the movie Avatar is right. Everything's connected. And yeah, I mean, it sounds simple. Almost too simple. But in that moment, it didn't feel like a thought. It felt like I saw it. Not with my eyes, but like my whole system understood it at once. And it hit me so hard I almost passed out. And after that, everything changed. Not externally, my life didn't magically fix itself, but internally, it's completely different. I mean, it felt like the fear of death was just gone. Like I'd already faced it and absorbed it or somehow. Like I accepted the fact that in order for us to evolve into whatever it is we are meant to evolve into as humans, there has to be the process of life and death. But it wasn't just death. Like it trickled down into my everyday life. The fear of where I was, what I was doing, where I was headed, how it's all going to happen. All of that faded away. And there was nothing left to run from. Like I was present, completely present. And when I stayed in that space, like life responded differently. People responded. It was like, you know, I thought it, I said it, I did it, and it all lined up. No resistance, second guessing, you just flow. And I didn't have language for any of this. So I called it my higher power. When I came back from that moment and carried on about my days, there's a storm coming. There was only one thing I would refer to any of it as, and that was my higher power. Not God, not the universe, just whatever was beyond me, but clearly interacting with me. And looking back now, that term makes more sense than I realized at the time, because if I'm made of smaller systems, and I'm aware of them, then what's aware of me? And then came the synchronicities. Consistent little things, but perfectly timed. Like one day, I'm walking with my friend, Zach, and I'm talking about the street I grew up on, 13th Street. And I'm talking about how I used to walk on it barefoot as a kid, and my blood, sweat, and tears were on that street. And somehow, without planning it, we end up on that exact same street, and I'm barefoot again, because I had twisted my ankle and took my shoes off. And I know that sounds small, but when things like that start happening over and over, it feels like something is responding. And then it faded after about 4 to 6 months, and the weird part is I didn't chase it. I didn't panic. I didn't try to get it back. I just kept living. But something stayed. Later on, I had another moment. I was standing at the foot of my bed, and all of a sudden, it was like everything made sense again, all at once. So I grabbed my notebook, and I started writing as fast as I could. I filled the pages, and in that moment, I understood what I was writing, completely. But later, I could read the words, but I couldn't access the understanding the same way. Like, it was still in me, but not fully available. And that's when the feeling started. Not I had a message for the whole world, but let me slow down. But that this is something people should at least have the option to hear. Because it doesn't belong to me. It never did. Because it's already here. You know, I said before that I didn't know if it was, after that big download, I didn't know if it was an instantaneous message for the world thing, or if it took a couple weeks for me to get there, and I said the signs were everywhere. And by that, I mean all the things that came up in my daily life, whether it pop up on YouTube or someone bring it to my attention, or it seemed like all of it fit together in some kind of way. And everybody, please don't take this in an egotistical way, but it was, how the fuck am I the one to see this? Because all this information is already here. Like, I did not discover anything new. I didn't. But, like, it just seems so obvious and so logical and just so... Yeah. So again, it wasn't a message for the whole world, but yeah. So when I say everything might be one system, I don't mean that in some abstract, unreachable way. I mean the most practical sense possible. You are a system, living inside of a system, made of systems, and participating in something larger, whether you can see it or not. Just like a cell would never fully understand who and what you are. It doesn't mean it's not a part of you. So maybe the question isn't, is everything connected? But maybe the question is, how far do we have to zoom out before we recognize it? And how far do we have to zoom in to forget it? Thank you for listening. Night, y'all. I mean that more than I could probably put into words. But I gotta get inside before this storm comes in. I know it looks okay that way, but yeah, it's not too great up there. 13:24 on the clock. Bye.